What's up? Welcome to Onebeatblog. I've been watching ESPN clips today, listening to ESPN radio, and all anyone is talking about is Wilt Chamberlain's famous 100-point game. Today is the 50-year anniversary about that, and so on ESPN's First Take, they've been talking about, will it ever be broken? What records are unbreakable? Who would have the best chance to break the record? Who are the greatest athletes ever? And is Wilt Chamberlain in the mix? And they've been showing the famous picture of Wilt holding up just a scrap of white paper that says 100 on it. And it's unfathomable to me to think of a 100-point game. I mean, no one does that, even in today's modern game. I mean, Kobe got close with 81, but they've been talking about that today, and a part of the story that a lot of people don't know is that as he was getting closer and closer to the record, instead of his teammates taking shots, they kept feeding Wilt Chamberlain the ball. They kept giving him the ball, and in an interview with one of his teammates, he said, we just wanted to see him accomplish that goal. I mean, Wilt was heads, I mean literally heads as in inches taller, but heads above the competition, and his teammates wanted to see him succeed. And so they started giving him the ball. He reached that even 100 points and called it a night. And it made me think about teamwork. It made me think about the people who were helping him to achieve that goal. I also heard Charles Barkley today on the radio. He called out Michael Jordan and the team that he partially owns. He partially owns a share of the Charlotte Bobcats, and basically Charles Barkley called him out and said that Michael has surrounded himself with a team of yes men, with people who don't want to say no to him, and that's why his team is failing, is because he's not willing to hear people say no, and he's not surrounding himself with people who will tell him no when he has a bad idea. So I wanted to talk about teamwork today because teams in our ministry is vitally important. The way that we deal with our team helps us to retain the people that we have, to build up the people that we have, because we don't want to just be draining resources from people. We want to be pouring back into them. So I have 4 things that I would just beg you to do for your team. First of all, spoil them. Give them gifts, give them things. If you know what their favorite foods are, take an inventory of what their favorite food, their favorite drink, their favorite candy, their favorite fast food restaurant, their favorite book, author, whatever. Spoil them, give them things, treat them to things. Take your leaders out for meals. Don't make them pay when you have a leadership meeting and you have snacks. Spoil them. At Christmas time, we got our leaders gifts. It was not cheap, but it was worth it because our leaders are our greatest investment. Second, encourage them. Call them out in front of your students, because your students probably don't realize all the work your leaders are putting in, and they need to understand their leaders care about them immensely to volunteer their time. So encourage them. Call them out in front of their students, and call them out when you're giving a sermon. I had someone fill in for me one week while I went up to my grandma's funeral, and I called them out in front of everybody because I wanted them to know that I believe in them, and the students should believe in them as well. Third, respect them. Respect their time when you have meetings. Respect the fact that they work full-time jobs. If you're one of those people who works a full-time job and then does youth ministry, thank you for that. If you're someone like me who's getting paid full-time and then you're asking all of this extra time of these people, respect the fact that they work. Respect the fact that they're not getting paid for the meetings that you hold. And while you may think you have a lot of really good things to say, sometimes it's just best to just cut a meeting or to cut it short in order to respect your team's time. Lastly, cherish them. Cherish your leaders. Something that sold Alicia and I on Lewisburg Alliance was when we came up for our interview, after I spoke in youth group, the leaders grabbed me and took me off to the side to talk to Alicia and I for a minute. And they simply said, hey, whatever your goal, whatever your vision, we want to be here to help you achieve that. These people were trusting a youth group that they've been running for a year successfully to a 23-year-old guy and telling him, hey, you know what? We trust that you know what you're doing, and we want to help you achieve that. And that's still the same people that are on our team now. I thank God for that. That was a selling point for me because I knew that the leaders trusted me, and I cherish them and what they do, and the time that they spend with our students, and the time that they pour into them in small group, and the time that they just chat with them while we're playing basketball or 21. Guys, spoil your leaders, encourage your leaders, respect your leaders, and cherish them, because their time and their effort is precious. You can't do it without them.